Weston McKennie of Juventus in the U.S. men's national team. On Tuesday, he suffered not one hurt, but we find out 2 fractures in his left foot against Villarreal. Sources confirming to our Jeff Carlisle, actually, that McKennie is set to miss between 8 and 12 weeks, which would obviously rule him out for the 3 decisive qualifiers coming up in late March. Herc, does this then jeopardize the United States' automatic spot, let's say automatic spot, in Qatar?
Absolutely. Let's for a second try to forget about the fact that he's probably the most informed player the U.S. men's national team has. Let's for a second try to forget for a fact that he's easily been the most consistent. I mean, since a lot of different pundits on a lot of different networks, a lot of different fans criticized him after that first window, he's been stellar for club and country.
Just say my name.
That's you, Sebastion Salazar. Can we for a second acknowledge the U.S. men's national team without Weston McKennie? They've played 4 games on the road. They've literally won without him, and that was the Honduras versus the worst team in the window. It's a team that can't keep a clean sheet without him. They're definitely different without Weston McKennie. Of course this hurts the U.S. men's national team. Of course this impacts the direct berth to the World Cup.
The spot's already in jeopardy, right? I mean, let's be honest. There's a long way to go with these 3 games. So I think it's not fair to just say that McKennie's injury could be the thing that jeopardizes this team, because there's no guarantee that they could go down and win in Mexico or go down and win in Costa Rica with Weston McKennie. That's something this program has always struggled to do. I think the point that you raised is kind of important. It's like, who else can you really at this point count on, not just for goals, but for consistent performances in this U.S. team? And a lot of that has to do with rotation and stuff like that. But I think really there's very few guys that you say, okay, Greg Berhalter's going to absolutely 100% with a Sharpie put this guy's name in the 11. And Weston McKennie is one of the only few guys in that category. Right now, Herc, let's break it down in percentages. With Weston McKennie out, what kind of percentage do you think that there is that the U.S. won't qualify for Qatar?
3%.
3%? Why so low and why so precise?
Do you remember what the percentage was heading into the Trinidad and Tobago game in 2018? The SPI, I remember vividly. SPI gave the United States men's national team a 3% chance of not making the World Cup. What do you think happened? That 3% came true.
I was there.
Okay? Yeah. 3% because it's highly unlikely. All they have to do is beat Panama. I know that sounds very easy. I'm not convinced it's as easy as people think. But all you have to do is win that home game. And you are going to play against a Mexico team that I don't want to say dominated, but at least scoreline-wise, you've won 3 times in a calendar year. So it's minimal.
But how big was McKennie in those games against Mexico?
That's the thing. Nations League final, he was massive. Every set piece, it seemed like he won. And then you're talking about that Cincinnati game, that Dos a Cero, he was a deciding factor in that as well. It just screams big-time player to me. This is going to be a huge loss.
I might put it a little bit higher than 3 because the Panama win doesn't necessarily guarantee you automatic, right? Like if you only beat Panama and Costa Rica goes perfect through the window, the U.S. could end up in 4th. So you got to beat Panama and do something else in one of those road games. That's going to be difficult without Weston McKennie, but I think the U.S. still very much then in the driver's seat.
That's why I said 3%, because that 3% for the U.S. meant that Costa Rica had to lose against Panama, meant that Mexico had to lose against Honduras, and those things happen. So like you said, Costa Rica would have to play out, win out, 3 points every single game, 9-point window.